Welcome back to the 10th episode of Unstable. We're good to be here. We've been popping them out on time recently after some scheduling issues, but here we are doing it on time again. Give us a pat on the back. Help us out. We're trying to reach that 1,000 subscribers. We're, let me see here, 985 shy. So help us out. Share it with friends. Give us the likes. Give us the subscriptions. We definitely appreciate the support. While you're at it, head over to Chaotically Intolerant, where Alex is the CEO, COO, maker, creator, inventor. How you doing, man?
I'm very tired. We're heading into week 2 of the Chaotically Intolerant Table Tennis League. I'm repping the Paw Sox, one of our teams. Our if anyone did tune in to our live stream, it was kind of a clusterfuck, to be honest. Really, just not great quality. So I wasn't too happy about that, and I've just been working hard the last week, just trying to improve it and get some good clips out and stuff like that. So it's been a week, but next week's gonna be better. Nine I think 9:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. Sunday night we're airing week 2, so it's gonna be a lot better. But listen, I'm undefeated right now. I'm the only undefeated player in the league, and I'm about a half a game up on first place. So heading into week 2, it's a big week.
Right on. Awesome, man. Make sure while you guys are at it, I think we're dropping an AFC South show, probably same day that this is going to drop tomorrow. I mean, it's Thursday right now, but we're recording, so it'll come out Friday. So AFC South show will be dropping. Make sure you head on over there, do the same, like, share, subscribe. Again, appreciate the support. So let's just dive into it, Alex. We usually do a segment, the highs and lows. So I'll let you rock with it, man. What you got?
All right. Let me think here. I feel like, have you mentioned the 2012 draft yet?
I don't think so.
All right, so the 2012 draft has to be my high. I mean, obviously, it's coming off a horrible, like a horrid year for the Colts. I know we almost beat the Brady Patriots that year, so that was like a plus. When we really didn't need to, we really had no need to do that. But that was the year we took Andrew Luck, we took T.Y. Hilton, and I think Anthony Costanzo in that draft as well. Let me
Did we
just
take
check
a
and make
Lux tight
sure.
end
Although
too? What was his name? Kobe Fleener. Wasn't
Kobe
he in that
Fleener
too?
was in there.
Yeah.
No, Costanzo was not in there.
Hmm.
Vic Ballard. Anyone remember Vic Ballard
Oh
or
yeah,
Levon Brazil?
yeah,
Levon
yeah,
Brazil. What a
yeah.
name.
Big Ballard had
Dwayne
some
Allen
flashes.
as well. Dwayne Allen, tight end out of Clemson.
Hmm.
We took him. What a draft. We give Grigson a lot of shit, but that 2012 draft,
Yeah, it
pretty
was
good,
solid.
I'd say.
It was all downhill from there, but
Yeah. But again, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. Five, like, I mean, they were impact players, you could say. Even Vic Ballard, I think, had somewhat of an impact on the team. So I'd say that's pretty damn good.
yeah. And what you got for a low?
I thought you were gonna go with your high.
No,
I think we should stay
we'll do
with
it
the
all at once.
highs. Well, I think we want to stay with the high. You go high, just so we're both in a good mood, and then we'll go to the low.
Well, why do
Make
you want to
everyone
sink
feel
the high
good.
mood? All right. Well, this is going to lead into something later. Then I'll do my high. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna. I was at both of the games that I'm going to list. It was Colts Texans. It was October 9, 2014. It was a couple of days after my birthday. It, it was such an awesome game. The Colts won 33-28. They went up 24-0 in the first quarter, and someone who is he's going to be my throwback player nominee, so I'm not going to spoil it, but went absolutely off like he always does on the Texans. I kind of already did spoil it, but I was at the game. Texans made it a great game. J.J. Watt late, he returned a touchdown, gave the Colts a real scare, but Colts held on. It was a hell of a game, man. It was exciting. It was fun being there. Texans fans, they're always booing and talking shit when I'm walking in, but it's always handshakes and everything after. So it was just a great environment. One of my high moments aside from which would probably be another high moment where I saw Peyton Manning in my first ever NFL attended game. But yeah, I'm going to go with that game first.
I'm trying to find the correct year for this. Give me one
For sure.
second. I want to make sure I have the right year because this was a horrible year for. I'm going to stick with the theme, my theme of the NFL draft. Why can't I find who this is? No. I don't know why this isn't showing up. I guess I'm just going to say whenever we drafted Jeff George, quarterback from Illinois, number 1 draft pick. I think a lot of people were like, I don't know why you're taking him at number 1. He had a rocket arm. He didn't have a horrible career, I think, in the scheme of quarterbacks career, as a NFL player, but as a number 1 pick, really just he was drafted in 1990. Okay. I think his best year yards wise, he had 3,900 yards in 1997 with Oakland as a 30-year-old quarterback. So that would just show you how good of a tenure he had as a starter for the Colts. He was 14-35. 14-35. He left the Colts in 93, which in 95 we talked about. We went to the AFC title game. But not good. But I really only know Jeff George because he is the quarterback for the Colts in Super Tecmo Bowl, which I love playing as the Colts. We were the worst team in football. It's either us or the Patriots, one or the other. The worst team in football by far. But I have taken the Colts to the Super Bowl in that game. I've not won the Super Bowl because the computer will always make you lose. If they're going to fight you every single time. My dad has won the Super Bowl with the Colts though. But my dad has also been playing the game since 1994 or whenever it came out. But Jeff George was a low moment for the Colts. I would say he was a very low moment for that Colts team.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So my low was very recent, and I was also at the game. Opening game in Houston 2 years ago.
The tie.
Yeah, the tie. It was neither team at the end of that game wanted to win. Colts had no business, tying it in the first place. Texans had no business blowing the game. Specs had 2 miserable punts that went out of bounds. He missed, what would have been a game-winning field goal. Neither team wanted to win. And then it seemed like Lovie Smith at the end was just playing for the tie. It was just all around it was so bad, and it was very indicative of how that season would go. Even Alec Pierce, who we thought was going to flash, he dropped it, an end zone touchdown. It was just all around just a bad game. But again, Texans fans were a lot of fun with it. As soon as they tied, we were all just standing up in confusion. Did we just really come here for a fucking tie?
I feel like that happens with every football game, every tie. Even when I watch, if you watch, I remember the Vikings and the Falcons or something had a tie, and I was watching the game on Red Zone, and the game ends, and you're like, "What?
No
what
game should end in a
talking
tie.
about tie? This is America. We don't tie here. Nobody ties. This isn't fucking soccer."
So I'm in the stands. I had excellent tickets because one of my buddies, his company, shout out Mark. He got tickets, great seats. They were 7 rows back. The halftime show was a Houston legend, Paul Wall. I don't know if you know him, but he did our halftime show, and it was awesome. After the game, you're like, hey, neither of us lost, and we're all, me and Texans fans were all high-fiving and shit. So it was a fun environment, but it's just nobody goes to a game to watch a tie. I think that's one thing the NFL needs to it shouldn't end like that. That was.
They got to do. I understand the safety of the players, but that is one thing I just can't.
Just go to college rules or something.
Do the college rules. Do anything
anything but a tie. Yeah. Unless if there's some crazy storm and it's going to be whatever. Okay. But if it's a game inside where there's no reason to tie, just you can't have a tie. Do soccer. Kick field goals until one of them misses or something. Do something.
I'd love that. Start with an extra point. Start with the
Yeah,
original extra point line and then move back.
yeah. Just keep kicking back until one of them misses, and then that's it.
Start from the 2-yard line, go back 10 yards, 12-yard line, 22. Just keep going back.
Yeah, until they're
And
trying to
I
drop
mean,
60-yarders, man.
the only problem is if you're going against the Ravens, doesn't matter.
Well,
You're
you're gonna
losing.
lose.
It's a
You're
guaranteed
gonna lose.
loss.
But who cares? You get to see some, whatever. but but that'll that'll lead me into my throwback player after that high game back in 14 I said, a couple days after my birthday. I believe T.Y. Hilton had like 230 yards receiving in that game. He had a touchdown. He always torched the Texans. I think he averaged almost 100 yards a game on them. But this game in particular, man, he was just, I don't think anybody was covering him. it was one of my, I think I started him in fantasy football. He went off. I think one of my, he's a Packers fan, but he hates the Colts.
Mhm.
He was at the game and he was all. It was fun. It was T.Y. Hilton. He's my throwback player. I think I don't know if too many people would disagree with him getting the honorable mention.
Yeah.
The high regard of being the unstable, Colts player of the week.
What am I gonna do? Who am I gonna? All right, I'm gonna go. I already mentioned him. I guess I'm gonna stick with Levon Brazil. Levon Brazil, one of those just role players. When you think about the Colts, you think about certain guys like that. Donald Brown, one of my favorites, especially from the 2010 Colts, when Peyton Manning is going for a rollout and Donald Brown misses a block, and you hear Peyton scream, "God damn it, Donald!" as he misses the block, and Peyton has to slide down for a self.
As he's running, damn it, Donald.
As he's running. If you look it up, it's a great clip. I highly recommend it. But the 2013 Levon Brazil legacy game was the divisional round against New England in New England after the massive comeback against Kansas City, which a lot of people forget about that game, by the way. That we remember what happened against Kansas City in 2013 in the wild card game. But everyone just completely omits that we got our shit pushed in by New England that year. And that was also the year before the Deflategate game, which we also played New England. So I also have a lot of ties to New England. I'm a Celtics fan, RIP to the Pacers. I have no ill will against the Pacers, but I am a Celtics fan, and I want the Celtics to win win the finals because we haven't won one since 2008. But the Levon Brazil legacy game, 2 receptions, 73 yards, and 2 touchdowns against New England in that game, and we lost 43-22. So just
his put more than half of our points up.
He also had a 2 touchdown game against Cincinnati where we lost 42-28. He had 3 receptions for 53 yards. So he's a touchdown merchant. He is a blowout merchant. Don't blame the guy whatsoever, but love Levon Brazil.
He's trying, man.
He's single-handedly trying to bring the Colts back.
All right, so we're gonna, I guess, kind of go into I don't want to say undisputed mode where we just kind of rattle off questions, but I kind of want to get quick answers. I'll answer. I already know what the question is, so it's a little bit easier for me. But just trying something new. So we're gonna go ahead and just wing it and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. First question. It's Chris Ballard. And I'm going to say a sentence. It's going to be regarding Ballard.
Regarding.
So I'm going to say a sentence, and I want to kind of get your reaction. The Indianapolis Colts missed the playoffs, and he's the GM in 2025. True or false?
If the Colts miss the playoffs, depends. I think I need a little bit more context into this. Does Anthony Richardson play 16 games or 17 games? 17 games. I'm sorry. It's never going to come to my mind that we play 17 games. It's always going to be 16. I'll never fix it. So does he play 17?
That's not part of the question. Yes, he plays 17. No, he doesn't. It's the same question.
I think that's so hard, and I've been so I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like you need more context, but if we're just doing it just like this, I would say no. It's getting to the point. It's like, dude, come on, we have to make the fucking playoffs. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've
See,
made it twice. He's made the playoffs twice in his career as
yeah,
Colts GM. Um, I say you have to fire him at that point.
yeah, and
If Richardson plays 8 games and you miss it by by a game again, like how it was this year, I don't know if you fire him. If you finish 4-13, of course you're going to fire him. How do you not fire him?
I
If
I don't think there's
Richardson,
I don't think like there's kind of a part A and B. I don't think there's a scenario where the Colts miss the playoffs and he's the GM next year. I think they've done too much. I think they have another insurance policy behind AR. I think that they've drafted people that can contribute immediately. That'll boost the defense outside of corner, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I don't see how they miss the playoffs, even if it's a wild card spot. If they miss the playoffs, I can't see a scenario where he'd be the GM. I just don't. I feel like it's
I
been too long.
think about if Richardson gets hurt again, and you have Flacco come in, and he is not what he was last year. He does because this is where quarterbacks come to die.
Are
This
you
is where
talking
the
about Matt Ryan in it again?
aging. Yeah, I mean, it could turn into a Matt Ryan situation where it's like, and remember, this is a quarterback league. Like you can build a team all you want. If you don't have that quarterback, someone who can at least go through the reads, and you even look at Brock Purdy, at least he can throw the fucking ball. Like Matt Ryan had a noodle arm towards the end. So I don't know. I mean, I would say, yeah, it's such a tough question. I mean, I think you need a lot more context behind it. I'll give him a little bit more of the benefit. I mean,
I
does he
feel like at
deserve
this
the
point
benefit
it
of
is.
the doubt at this point? I don't know. I mean,
I
maybe
feel like his seat has to be pretty. I don't know if it's boiling hot, but it's got to be simmering.
he's yeah. I mean, there's pressure.
It's got to be.
There the bubbles. It's at that point when you're making pasta where the bubbles are. You see the bubbles starting underneath, and now we just
I'm
have to see.
about ready to throw in the noodles.
Yeah, the noodles aren't ready yet. They're not quite ready yet, but you got another minute, right? And if you keep
Mhm.
watching if you keep watching the water, it's gonna feel like 5 minutes. But
Right.
um,
All
if
right.
you look away, if he turns away, yeah, then that seat might be boiling a lot quicker than he thought it was gonna be.
So my next question, question two, running back. Are we obviously Jonathan Taylor is the number one? Are we confident in Trey Sermon and Evan Hull to be the number two, or are we looking at there's still Dalvin Cook out there, Kelly, Murray, Hunt. Are we looking to bring in a number two, or are we confident in Sermon, who I'm assuming right now would probably be the two, at least looking through OTAs, but Evan Hull,
Kareem Hunt
could
still out
also.
there? I thought he was.
From what I
I thought he was.
saw,
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was
I
staying in
could be
Cleveland.
wrong, but I think he was still listed as a free agent.
There's, I don't know. I say you got to give it a shot with Sermon. I think because Dalvin Cook didn't really show much. What did we see from Dalvin Cook? He's clearly aging, and again, in football, a single year is harsh to a lot of guys, especially running backs. You're paying Taylor for a reason, so he's going to be your dominant number one back. I liked what we saw from Trey Sermon last year, and I think he can be a solid number two. He really can be. I liked him in Philly, and I think he had a very limited role in Philly, but I think as a solid number two, as a good pass catching back, I think Trey Sermon can be he can be solid. So I would say you roll with Trey Sermon, and especially he is a Steichen guy too. So part of that's Ballard putting faith in Steichen and putting trust in Steichen and saying, these are your guys, go do your work. You don't need to bring in anyone else. So I would say you stick with Sermon and put him as number two.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked Evan Hull coming out of last year's OTAs. He's another fast guy,
Yeah.
possibly kind of that gadget player. I'm not saying he's Christian McCaffrey or Debo or anything like that,
No,
but
he's going to be a solid.
but
He'll
he's
be a
fast and he's a
solid
pass catcher.
3.
So
I think
I like where they sit in that.
I think it's going to be like Sermon will be 2-3, and Hull will be like 3-2. He's more than often you're going to have Sermon as the number 2, but they might use Hull and well, they're different backs too. Like they're different style backs, so
For sure.
They're going to be used in different situations as well.
For sure. So I think I know what the answer to this is going to be. I don't know if I really need to ask the first part of the question.
No, ask away.
Do Colts bring in a cornerback veteran?
How do you not? I mean,
I knew the answer to it. So then I guess the real question here is who? Because there's Howard still out there. Jackson, do the Colts go make a play for Gilmore? And would Gilmore accept it? But I still I like Howard, man.
I would like Howard because he was upset with how things went down in Miami last year, and I think you bring him in as a bet, and you say they didn't fucking believe in you. They didn't believe in you with Jalen Ramsey, so let's make them pay. And we're playing Miami this year too, so that's a part of it. And this is a young team that, if everything goes right, can really succeed. And older guys want to go to young teams where they can be a mentor. Xavier Howard can be a mentor, and he can possibly succeed. He can be one of those players that helps with a deep run. And he could be this is where you could put everything else, like put all that, pent up anger and aggression into this season and say, one last ride. Here we go. But you absolutely have to bring in a veteran. I don't understand why people are saying to not bring in a veteran. I mean, I understand what they're saying. I get it. You have other guys there, but availability is the best ability, and they didn't prove that last year. You have to make them prove that again. And injuries aren't a choice, obviously. It's not like they choose to get hurt, but that's the truth of the game. You have to force them to be available at times. You have to make themselves be available. Because you can't force them. That's not the right way to say that.
You're broken ass on the field.
that's
I like the idea.
But you have to put the pressure down, and that's putting pressure down on these guys. Because why should we have any faith in them? You want to say you have faith in their skill? That's fantastic, but they haven't shown it on the field, and that's all it is. They have not been able to show it up.
You want because in OTAs apparently Flowers is doing well. He got hurt about a month in, and he I think he flashed, when he took over that cornerback role.
Oh, he did.
So I think he looked solid. So apparently he's kind of a corner standout, to play opposite of Juju.
But what are you going to do?
But
again, do when they get hurt?
Make Ballard regret bringing in a guy, Howard. Make him regret. I get what you're saying. I can agree with that.
What are we going to sit here again in let's say December, and we're trying to make a playoff push, and we can't stop anyone from throwing the ball? This was how. What are you going to sign Howard for? Like, how much? He's not going to be super expensive. I couldn't imagine he would be that expensive.
I mean,
he just got cut. Like it's not like he's a free agent and he's like, I'm looking for a new team to take my talents to, and I'm going to put everything else I have into it. It's like, no, he's looking for somebody. There's a reason he's out there. So he's going to be cheap. Take advantage of it. There's no reason to not.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that.
And Kenny Moore is a veteran. Like, what do we have to have two veteran cornerbacks in the same locker room, especially with these young guys? That would be an invaluable tool for the next 3 years.
And they just drafted 2 more corners.
Yeah, an invaluable tool for the next 3 years. And if you succeed without Howard, give him a fucking ring if he's there. Mm-hmm. Give him a fucking ring and say, you helped us build this. Like, you helped us.
For sure.
I would be perfectly fine with that.
So let me see, fourth quarter. And I think everybody, if they've been paying any attention to me, they probably know my answer to this one. Does Mo Alley-Cox make the roster?
Man, I love I love that Cox connection, man. Um,
Does Cox make it?
yeah, I love watching those Cox, streak across the field. I want
I'm
him to
gonna
have
say something else, but I'll just give it.
I want him to have a roster spot. I love the big side. I love the large tight ends. I really want to see them use the large tight ends in the red zone, especially. He played basketball for a reason. Make him go up and get a fucking layup. Make him go up and get a board, right? Just I really want to see them use the big size because I feel like we don't see that all that much. There's your big name wide receivers, right? And they use their size. I feel like we are able to have that. I feel like if he goes somewhere else, we're going to look at him in a few months and say, man, I wish we kept him. Somebody else is going to exploit him. Like you think about those old Patriots teams, Mo Alley Cox is the exact style of player that they would just exploit his height. They would absolutely exploit his height on the other side of Gronk. They would put him over there and they'd say, try and stop these two massive guys. Yeah, Cox's hands are a little worse, but I mean, probably a lot worse, to be honest. But use him inside the 20. Use him in the 20 and say, stop him. Like, what are you going to do? You can't get higher. Height is a very valuable asset, and that's what Cox has. Cox has size, right?
Cox is big.
He has the girth and the length and the height, all three. So go out.
See,
I would say you give him a roster spot.
see, this is why I disagree. So I'd say no. I'm tired of the Mo Alley Cox experiment. I'm tired of playing with Cox. I'm tired.
I'm never tired of playing with Cox. Never.
I'm over the Cox experiment, and I say that because if I'm not mistaken, both Mallory and Jelani Woods are like the same size or bigger. And
I'll take 3.
I feel like So question 5, I think Jelani Woods, and I'm just gonna answer it, should be the number 1.
Yeah.
He's coming out of OTAs, he looks good. He has a clean bill of health, the hamstring not an issue. I think he should be the number 1. He's fucking 6'7", 6'8", ran a 4.6 40. There's no reason that this dude should not be a number 1 tight end on anybody's roster. And and because of that, I think he overtakes he takes over Cox, number 1 spot. And Granson, I thought, showed better hands than Cox, and Mallory, I think, is a better blocker. Like, I just think that the other tight ends provide more than what Cox can provide. I've been really high up on Jelani Woods. Like I said, I'm over the experiment. I think he'll be a roster cut fatality, especially if all of them are healthy going into the time to do these roster cuts.
Yeah, he's sitting at 3 right now on the depth chart ahead of Mallory. So he could definitely, I think he could definitely, it's going to be a battle. I wouldn't be shocked if he sits on the practice squad and they trade out places over the offseason. Or during the season. Sorry, not the offseason. It wouldn't shock me if he's going up and down and trading spots and stuff like that.
I feel like the Colts should have, when he had value, traded him. I think after seeing his hammer hands display, and I don't think that the value was even there. Now I'm looking like Trump with my accordion hands.
Are you doing
they should have. I think they should have, made
his hand stuck. He's horrible. He can't catch.
His hands are terrible, folks. I'm not a fan. His size is great, but he just, when he has that advantage, he just hasn't really produced with it. I'm over the experience. I don't think, unless again, if Granson and or Woods, and we have Ogletree too. I forgot to mention him. He's a little bit bigger and faster.
Yeah, he's like out of jail or something, so he's good. Well,
he didn't. The charges were dropped.
Yeah,
he didn't. Yeah, so he's good. He was taken off the commissioner exempt list. I almost forgot about him. I don't know how we can talk about the tight end room without him.
Oh yeah,
But
that's gonna be tough
I
then
feel like
because
that
I
leaves
forgot about him too.
Cox out of. I I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get in trouble and get this taken down. Um, I think that makes him one of the odd men out. I'll just say that. I'm high up on Jelani Woods. All right, we'll get into stats. We said we were going to do stats. Let's get into the
Wait,
stats.
hold on. What
What?
is with the names of our tight ends? We have Woods and Ogletree, two trees, and then we have fucking Mo Alley Cox. Why are we? What's going on here? Why? Or,
Big hard wooden Cox, man.
yeah.
So stats. Last week we did. We went over AR. We went over JT. We did a couple of defenders. I believe it was Latu and Quiddy Pay, assuming he's pretty much the guy who's going to be primarily playing opposite of Latu. But we're going to go over wide receivers, and I have a few. We're not going to obviously do the entire roster of wide receivers. It gets a little touchy after that. There's another Moali Cox joke in there, but wide receiver stats. What do we think Pitt's going to do?
I mean, is it fair to say it's a disappointment if he's under like 1,300 this year? I mean, you're number one. You just got signed to a big contract. It has to be that, right? Like at least 1,300 yards. Like that should be his threshold right now.
Yeah, I feel like that might be. I hope that's not the ceiling, but I feel like that's kind of where it is. I don't see him as the big play, burner downfield. I don't see him as that.
No,
I see him much more as the big body possession receiver.
Yeah, but that's what he needs to be. And if you have this young gunslinger quarterback now, who you have to be the veteran in the locker room for him. Like you have to be you have to be the guy that he can make a bad pass and you're gonna make up for it, right? He can make he can throw one a little high and you're gonna go up and fucking get it. And
I'm sorry, when he had those three defenders on him as they're ripping his helmet off and he still caught the ball, I'm like, okay, he can make some contested catches.
He can definitely make them, but he has to be the number one guy. That's just what it is. He has to be that guy. He is the oldest guy in that wide receiver room right now. Besides, shockingly, I don't know how old Tyree Cleveland is, but I don't know if you remember Tyree Cleveland at Florida. He had the legendary Felipe Franks to Tyree Cleveland catch against Tennessee, the Hail Mary. I'm a Florida fan. Well, I'm a USF because I graduated from there and University of Florida. But I remember that Tyree Cleveland catch. So seeing him on the Colts makes my heart happy.
How many receptions do you think for Pittman?
Let me look at what he did last year because it has to be an increase.
Right at 100.
He was at 100.
I think it was
109.
109. Yeah,
he's at 109. So he's. Because I want to look at. Let me look at the reception leaders. I want to see what they were at last year. Because again, like if we're going into this and he's going to be the number one guy, we have to expect him to have those numbers. It's like Tyreek was at 119, CeeDee Lamb 135. So he's got to get up to 120.
120.
I think that's a fair number, 120 for him, especially because he is a possession receiver. So even more than that, I would say he's got to break 100 though for it to be, I guess, an acceptable statistical year for him.
I feel like outside of Evan, I think Mike Evans, I don't think he gets praised enough for what he does. He's had, aside from Tom Brady, kind of shaky quarterback play. He went through Winston, he went through, Mayfield had a pretty good year, but he hasn't had, Brady his career. He hasn't had, Peyton Manning or, Drew Brees. He hasn't had any of that, but he still produced like 1,000 yards, 100 receptions every fucking year. And I feel like that's kind of the road. I think that's kind of the road that Pitt's going down.
About him, he had 79 receptions this year.
Mhm.
Chris Godwin had more receptions than him this year, which is crazy. And they both played 17 games.
Yeah.
That's what it says, at least. Because normally they're hurt. They they both have struggled for the past, their entire careers with injuries. So the fact that he only had 79 receptions, that's insane.
Yeah, but he's like every year he's produced 1,000 yards, and I feel like that's kind of the road that Pittman's going down. Like again, a lot of instability at quarterback, whatever, and he still produces. Like I think it was the year with Matt Ryan, he was like one reception away from 100. Like he, even with awful quarterback play, he still is he's very productive. So I think with a full, get a full year with Richardson, I think I wouldn't scoff at those numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know if 1,300, just because I don't think he's that huge home run hitter. Maybe like 1,150, 1,200, somewhere there, and maybe a little more modest on my end, just because. But yeah, I think as far as receptions goes, he needs to clear the 100 receptions, not just kind of hover around it. So I'll agree with that. What do you think about Downs? What do you think Josh Downs is going to do?
Say get to 90. 90 would be a good space for him. He's not like that big deep ball guy, right? He's not gonna go up and get one. He's that underneath. He's gonna run a lot of like the short drag routes, but he's gonna be a great release for Richardson when maybe he gets into trouble. But he had 68 and 771, so he actually had a better average per reception than Pittman. Pittman at 10.6 per catch. So, I would say you probably want, I feel like 11 to 12 is going to be like probably where he's going to hover around, at least for the next few years, at least. So will he break 1,000 yards this year? That's going to be a great question too.
If he does your 11, that puts him like 9, like right at 1,000.
Yeah. So I would hope he's going to break 1,000. I think a real successful year for him this year would be breaking 1,000, maybe even 900. Get him up to 900. I'd be fine if maybe he had a little lower average too, but he had more receptions, just more production overall.
Yeah.
But he is very productive anyways as a rookie. That's a real productive year for him.
Yeah.
So it's, I think if he does anything better, anything equal or better, I think for a second-year receiver, especially avoiding that sophomore slump,
for sure,
I'd be happy with.
For sure. Speaking of rookie, A.D. Mitchell. What are we looking for him?
So it's gonna be a tough one. I assume he's gonna be that deep ball threat that we've been really looking for, and he's gonna split time with Pierce too. They're gonna be fighting for that spot, and assuming no one gets hurt. I would be happy again if he's splitting time with Pierce, then 600 yards. Right? I mean, a first-year receiver, he's probably I think he is going to make an impact down the field. But I think 600 yards for a rookie is really, really good. That's a great year, especially with a quarterback who they're probably going to try and uncork the ball as the year gets later and later and give him more experience. And I love Alec Pierce too, so I don't really want to see Pierce lose time, but whoever's better is better. I think whoever wins that battle will end up around 600-700 yards.
And like what? Kind of Josh Downs 60.
I think those
receptions somewhere there.
Low, really, I think they're going to be low. They're going to be looking for him more down the field, I would say. So probably hanging around like 50 receptions.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The Colts wide receivers were not great. End zone. There wasn't a lot of touchdown production. I think Pitt had 4
in the red zone.
Something. Yeah. Well, I mean total. I think he wasn't really targeted in the red zone.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. That's a That's a travesty.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much of
He
it
needs to
that
be,
is his
with how much
fault.
he got paid, he needs to get like 10. I'm sorry.
Downs had 2.
Yeah.
Well, we also have to think we have a top 5. We really had a top 3 running back room last year. So we didn't really need a lot of passing, a lot of passing touchdowns, but I really would like to see them improve their red zone, because I just feel like for what is it,
I
like the
think
past
Pitt has to
5
have
to
10.
10 years, I can't remember a Colts team that was really good in the red zone.
It's been a while.
That's not Peyton Manning. I would say Peyton Manning was the best, but even those luck Colts teams, like, they weren't fantastic in the red zone. Like, give us a great red zone team and I'll be happy, because whenever we're sitting in the red zone, I just expect us to fuck it up. Frank Reich was horrible in the red zone. He would run these stupid bullshit plays, double reverse, like all this shit. And it was like, just pound the rock. That's really what I want to see, is just them pounding the rock with JT. Pound the fucking rock. And after that, use your big tight ends. They're there for a reason. Because if you have your big tight ends, just they know it's coming and they can't stop it. The draw pass interference. Like, I hate relying on the refs to win football games, but bigger bodies, it's a lot easier to draw pass interference with bigger bodies. Sure. Be LeBron. Be LeBron. Flop as much as you can.
No one can flop that much, man.
That's true.
So
maybe our 3, Mo Alley Cox, Ogletree, and Jelani Woods, can all equal LeBron flops.
So under the assumption that Woods is the number 1, what do you think he's going to do? And I'm looking reception, yard, and touchdowns.
Oh, I would hope a higher touchdown number.
Well, last year he had 0, so I'm
yeah. I would say, like, I think he'll get like 6 touchdowns if they use him in the red zone enough.
They should.
I think 6 touchdowns is fair, because you got to think, for 17 games, get one roughly every 3 weeks. Because you got to think there's going to be other tight ends. You're going to have Richardson probably will run a few in, as much as I hate that. He will run a few in.
He's going to run it in.
He's going to take a good amount of them. Got to hope they're going to get Pittman and Downs involved. So I feel like 6, he's going to be your number 1 guy, and Richardson will probably look him off a few times. So I would say 6 touchdowns. I mean, 400 to 500 yards. Because I'm trying to not be like too over optimistic about what Richardson's performance is going to be, because a lot of these guys obviously will be reliant on what Richardson does. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm being this is like me being optimistic. This is me saying, oh, Richardson is going to pick up where he left off in his performance last year, and then improve as the year goes on. We have DJ Montgomery. What the fuck?
Do what?
We have DJ Montgomery. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, it is a wide receiver.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. And then I think after Woods it gets really shaky. I don't see, unless if he really screws up in OTAs and training camp and shit, and Woods just whatever. I still don't like Mac as the number 1. Like, I would put Ogletree above him. You need a first down on 3rd down. I'm putting Granson in over him.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not, outside of Woods, there just isn't really like that really standout, like, yeah, this is the guy. Like, Woods just has the size, whatever, and what we saw, for whatever reason, he was limited usage with, that Jeff Saturday, Matt Ryan, whatever debacle season. He looked really good. He had long strides, no issues with his route. He looked effortless doing it.
I mean, there was a few when you saw him running into the end zone, like his entire body, like I felt like like it would shake the ground when he was running, because he's so big. I was like, oh my God, this guy's a
It's not
fucking
even fair.
monster. This is not fair. Like I can like when I think about him in my head, the first thing that comes to mind is, and I don't know if this actually happened in a game, but like 3 guys running behind him, like attached to him, like grabbing onto his jersey, one grabbing onto like maybe like his pants or something, and he's just fucking running with that massive stride that he always has too. So
It's like a 5-yard stride. Like fucking hell.
yeah,
He's
he
such a
can get a
big
first
dude.
down with 2 steps.
Yeah, it's craziness. Like
Give him 2 steps.
I can't see a scenario outside of injury where he's not the one. And then after that, I think it just gets shaky. Like it's just who stands out in OTAs and training camp. I feel like Max should be gone. I mean, I was tired of him a year or two ago. I like Granson. You know, I think he came down with some clutch catches. You know, a few third downs. He came down with some
also do need a different type of tight end. I think you need more. He's more of a mobile tight end.
Yeah.
Like he's smaller, but again, he's more of a mobile tight end who's more equivalent to a wide receiver, I would say.
We're talking about using those jumbo sets in the red zone, and I think Ogletree's a little bit bigger and a little bit faster than Matt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I feel like it should be Woods and Ogletree in the red zone. I just, out of all this, it just feels like Mac is the odd man out. Granson has better hands. I think Mallory's the better blocker. I just don't see a scenario where, like I was saying, he's not on the practice squad or off the team.
Yeah, I would say just stick Cox on the practice squad. I have a strong feeling they're tight ends. They're big boys. They're going to get hurt at some point. Just stick them on the practice squad. And, you know, pray, I guess, that one of your tight ends isn't going to get hurt. But it's the bigger the body, the bigger the muscle, and the more likely the muscle is to get hurt. So I think we will see Mo Alley Cox again. I think that is a almost guarantee. We will see him in a regular season game as a Colt once again.
I feel like things have gone wrong if that happens. I don't know.
What if you have one guy get hurt for a week? You're gonna bring him up?
But again, you've got Woods, you got Ogletree, you got Granson, you got Mallory. I just like the wheels really had to fall off. And if you remember, Mo Alley Cox was kind of the orchestrator of the wheels coming off. Like he had a routine tackle and fumble that led to the whole demise in Dallas. Like it's I'm already fed up with Mo Alley Cox then.
Because you're not going to avoid injuries with these guys. Some of them are going to miss time, and that's when you're going to see Cox. So I don't know if it's horribly wrong. Like we just have to assume that's just going to happen during the course of the season. We might see Mo Alley Cox in a Week 8 game against who are we playing Week 8? Fucking Houston or some non-important team like that. So we're going to piss off the guys over in Houston.
Hold on. Okay. If that happens, I'm just saying Logan Thomas, Jimmy Graham, Mercedes Lewis, they're still there. I think there's better free agents than Mac. If it comes down to, man, we need Mo Alley Cox, just grab one of those tight end free agents, man. I'd rather move on.
I'm more impressed with myself that I actually got Houston playing in Week 8. I was just like, oh, some random fuck-ass team we play in Week 8, and it's Houston. But honestly, it should have been Jacksonville, the random fuck-ass team. Like, what's the – hold on. I don't want to backtrack or detour too much, but what's the most random team in the NFL? Because Jacksonville has to be one of them.
Random team in the NFL?
Like, just the team that's just, like, so – honestly, I think the Colts are one of them, but we've been there for so long. We've been a team for so long.
We've been a franchise for a really long time.
Yeah. So Jacksonville is one of those random fuck ass teams that just there's like kind of no reason you should exist except you just do. They just needed to put someone else in.
It's a good one.
Who else? Arizona. They've been there for a long time.
I mean, I like
they just haven't been good.
St. Louis Rams. But I feel like now they're kind of just – I know they won the Super Bowl, but they kind of paid for it. They kind of bounce around all over the place. I think the Rams is now just kind of one of those.
They've been bouncing around a lot.
If they stayed in St. Louis, that wouldn't
Um,
be my answer. But
because like when you think about oh, like this is a Colts game I could miss. I think that's the better question. Like, what's a Colts game? Just if you heard the matchup, you had no knowledge of the teams and how good they were. You think about that, like a Jacksonville game I could miss. I wouldn't want to miss a Houston game. I don't care how bad they are. I love it. I love playing Houston. Um,
I mean, it's
even
I love going
Tennessee,
to the games
like
here. I mean,
Tennessee, when we
it's
play
always
Tennessee,
been
there's some
competitive.
games.
And this might be a good one. I just remember, I think I was at work this Sunday. It was a Peyton Manning game, and I think the quarterback was Dan Orlovsky for the Texans. It was a great game. Texans had the lead. Peyton Manning marches them back, and then for whatever reason, Orlovsky like tries to run for the first down and gets set into helicopter mode, fumbles the ball, but the rest is history. I was listening to that, and the whole time Colts were losing.
Yeah.
My buddy worked at one of the posts or whatever, and I drive by, and he's like, I'm like, and I come back, and I'm just because he was listening to the radio. I had it on in the car. I rolled by him, and I'm just laughing at him. He's like, "Fuck you." Yeah, that was a fun day at work.
I
But
would say the Panthers are a fuck ass team.
oh,
They're just they're like if I hear we're playing like last year when we were playing the Panthers, I was like, okay, we have to watch this game. This game has to be played.
I had
Are
to watch it. I
you
had to
for real?
watch him beat right. Like I had to see it happen. I'm sorry. This is another tangent, but I can't even. I don't even know his name. I hate him so much. I hate his face. The Eagles head coach. I can't remember.
Sirianni.
Yeah, I don't like him. The Colts can Reich, which was probably half a season too late. Eagles come to town. They almost fucking lose.
Yeah, I don't
And he's
know.
like, this
Not
one was for
bad on
Frank
him.
Reich. And Lucas, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I hate the douchebaggery falling off of this guy. And there was a play that happened, and he's challenging it, and he's standing over the flag like, yeah, I challenge. Look, it's pointing at the flag like, we get it, dude. You challenge. Like, why are you being such a douche lord? I don't like it. I'm sorry. I mean, the Eagles have been around for forever, so I'm not saying they're fuck off franchise, but he's a fuck off head coach. I don't like him. I think he stalled out. So. Or did I? I don't know. Maybe my internet connection is shit. But yeah, I guess I'll end it there with him frozen in frame. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming on. Always, we appreciate all the support. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and head over to this AFC South show. Do the same. Oh, he's back. You timed out on us for a minute, man.
I don't know why it just cut out.
It was bizarre, but yeah, I was just doing the closing stuff. I thought you might have been gone, but
one
yeah.
One more fuck ass team. I'm really gonna say, I mean, I want to say the Bucks, but there's just something about them. It's the red and blue.
Okay, they've been around for. I'm not. This is the team. They've been around for forever. They have a whole thing. They have a whole mascot. They have the Browns. Can we just?
No, I don't know. There's something about when we play the Browns. I love playing.
It's not. They're not even like the Cubs, where they're the lovable losers. They're just losers.
But there's like something there. There's just something. There's like they're fans. There's just something there to me that just is like, okay, they're a real football team. I guess my top three fuck ass teams are the Cardinals, the Jaguars, and the Panthers. I think that's a fair list. Those are just teams like I genuinely do not give. I have no anger towards them. I have no love towards them. I am
I'd say the Cowboys, but I love to watch them lose.
Yeah,
so I can't really put them in that bracket.
Eagles, the same thing. You'll love to watch them lose.
Yeah, we all lose when they play each other.
The Giants, I like seeing the Giants win. It's like it's fun when I see.
The Jets have a history, and it's of losing.
Yeah. Commanders, I love the
Commanders. Oh, that's a fuck off team to me. I'm sorry. They weren't until they changed their name. Like, just go back to the Redskins. Like now you're just a fuck off team.
The football team was good. The football team when they were the Washington football team, that was sick. I liked the football team. There was something so simple, so easy about that. It's like when like soccer club, like they're like the London Soccer Club. Like that's cool. You know, there's something like it just means the city, and that's all they rep is the city. They could do a politician as their mascot because they got nothing else over in DC. The NFC North, so much history in the NFC North. I give it to them. The South is like equivalent to the AFC South, and the West. There's a lot of history.
The AFC South's getting better.
They're getting better. They're getting better.
I will say, I don't know if they need to like redo the divisions because it makes no sense for the Colts to be in the AFC South.
Yeah, the whole. Well, what gets me is when you look at Florida. Florida is so hard because we're on the East Coast, but we're also the most far south you can be. So like you have Jacksonville, who is more north than Miami is. Miami is as far south as you can go in Florida. And for some reason they are in the east, but I think Miami is further east than Jacksonville is. So makes zero sense. There's no reason
like
why any of these.
Why are we doing this by direction if they're not even? The Colts have no business in the AFC South. Like they're not South.
Yeah, none of this makes any sense. It's all ridiculous. The AFC North makes sense, although the Ravens are far east, so they should be in the AFC East. It's all crazy.
Yeah. Oh well.
So I don't know. What we can do, maybe we'll do an episode on that. We'll
restructure divisions.
The NFL, restructure the divisions, the whole thing. Because there are teams in like the NFC that I feel like should be in the AFC as well.
Like I like the Colts, the Bears. We're just doing it already. Colts, Bears, Packers.
The Colts and Bears are 2 hours away. Now I understand if they want, even though
maybe
they're close,
separate conferences.
But they might want to do that for audience wise. To expand the audience, because if you have a wider net, so you have one team that's in the AFC and one team that's in, because that's why like New York is split up. You have the Jets and the Giants in the AFC and NFC. Yeah. So that makes sense.
That's what I was saying. Like keep the Colts in the AFC, whatever, dude, the AFC North, and then keep the Bears in the NFC North.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you want to split up the Packers and Bears. I don't know. But
they're also
definitely be a North. In a North division.
They're far enough north. The Packers are far enough north. I think you could do that because they're not far from Chicago either. I think they're like
it's pretty close.
An hour or 2 hours, like the equivalent to Chicago to Indianapolis.
I'd like to see, even though they're not. It's not really close. They're the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens in the same division.
That'd be evil.
That'd be evil but fun.
Oh my God, that'd be evil. I feel like Buffalo and Indy should be there too. I can look at a map. It really fucks with me that Chicago is not further south. It doesn't make sense to me because in my mind, Chicago should be like in the middle of the country, because they are the Midwest. In my mind, Chicago is like down further. Because when I looked up, I was like, hold on, Chicago is 2 hours northwest of Indianapolis. That makes zero sense. To me, in my eyes.
Yeah, I lived in Iowa, man. It's just a couple hour drive over to Chicago. Almost east from where I lived in Iowa.
Yeah, that fucks with me. Yeah. So like you look at, let's see, and the time zones also make zero sense to me too. It's all ridiculous. Hold on, I'm looking at Indianapolis here. Yeah, because Chicago is like, I think Chicago should be where St. Louis is. St. Louis should be. This is the dumbest segment. This is a stupid segment. This is the most
pointless fucking segment.
St. Louis.
Let's go over zoning districts in the next.
St. Louis should be where Memphis is.
That doesn't make any sense.
St. Louis should be further south.
I should have ended this when I was doing my breakaway.
This is my favorite segment. Kansas City should actually be give me like Kansas City. They got to be like southern Missouri to me as well. Actually, I don't know. I would really have to give this some thought. Let me redraw the map of America, and we'll come back in 2 weeks.
Like any of what you said was making any sense. Like that's what a fucking city is.
Well, this is just their vibe, the city's vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely St. Louis. Chicago gives off what St. Louis should be.
Yeah. Green Bay should be in Canada then.
Green Bay. All these North Dakota's too far north.
What's the worst Dakota? That should be Green Bay.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah, they're close.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't this let me do this? Okay. Oh, wait, there we go. Where is Green Bay? Okay, so Green Bay they're like just up the river. If you keep driving up Lake Michigan, that's where they are. So they must be 2 hours, if that. They actually look pretty equal. So 2, maybe 3 hours. Not bad. What even happens over there? Does anything happen in Green Bay?
No, they have Packers.
That's it? Hey.
I mean, Wisconsin, I think it has like a mall.
Because where's Milwaukee? Milwaukee's not far. Milwaukee. Oh, Sheboygan. When are we getting a team in Sheboygan?
Never.
Give me the Sheboygan, like.
I think this is the point to wrap this up, man.
The Sheboygan Curds. Give me the Sheboygan Curds.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. If you stuck with us this long, thank you so much.
At least it was the end of the episode. I didn't start that episode with that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back next Friday with not zoning districts, and
No, I'm gonna rezone. I'm gonna rezone the entire
United States. All right, but thank you so much. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe it. Hop over Chaotically Intolerant. Do the same.
This is more the vibe.
Be safe.
What we're doing right now.